Good morning. Today we're going to be talking again about the student that we've been focusing on for a while now. He's a 5-year-old boy in a preschool program with autism. He has a shared aid in the classroom and he's been displaying some aggressive like behaviors, hitting, kicking, spitting, things like that, as well as disruptive behaviors, which could look like running, swiping things off the table, things like that, and as well as elopement, which is leaving the classroom through either the main door or through the back door, which leads outside without an adult. So, the part of my behavior plan that I'm going to focus on today is the data collection. Um, as stated in my report, I will be doing 5 minute interval, partial interval training at 5 minute intervals. Um, at first, I would do it, and then I would push it onto his aide. So this would be like a training program for them to get the hand of it, as well as watch me do it first. So the way that I've set it up is I have a little handout here. Let's see. So on the top, this is just a sample of what it would look like. It would be he's only there for 3 hours a day. So it would essentially be three of these for like 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. So we have our times up here and our 5 minute intervals. And then we have down here, we have our acronyms. On the bottom, I've also provided, especially if this is the first time that an aide would be doing it, it's just a little handy thing to have on the side. So an A would be the presence of an aggressive behavior, and then I've defined it. So hitting, kicking, biting, spitting, pushing. A replacement behavior. So the aggressive behavior replacement would be using the safe body card and with the model of a caregiver. Same thing for disruptive, throwing or breaking objects, running, yelling. And then same thing with elopement, leaving the classroom without permission from an adult. And then again, using a strategy card, using a break card. So the idea behind this is we would have a 5 minute interval timer. The aide would have it on a clipboard as well as this. And in that 5 minute time, did the student present any of these behaviors? So on the back here, I've made a sample of what it could look like during the day. So here, we have here from 9:05 to 9:10, he showed an aggressive behavior. You put an X, you put a check, whatever your system will be. We introduced the replacement behavior, which would be something like this, a safe body card. So these would be posted all throughout the classroom. Do you have safe hands, safe feet, quiet mouth, working hard? And then on the bottom, we have our prompts. I've also defined the prompts. So if the student did independently, a verbal prompt, which would be, calling their name or verbalizing, do you have safe feet, or whatever the situation may be. If they're kicking, do you have safe feet? A gestural prompt, which would be, holding up the safe body card and like pointing to which one you're specifically talking about. A positional prompt would be, moving by their elbow to touch the part that you want it to be. And a full physical prompt would be physically taking their hands, hand over hand, putting the safe body card in their hand, taking their finger and pointing to the ones as you say it. And then a resistive or refusal would be if none of these prompts work, the student is refusing, we need to reset. So for the 9:10 or the 9:05 to 9:10, I'm sorry, we had a verbal prompt, which would be calling student by their name, and a positional prompt. So using that guidance of guiding them to touch the parts that we want them to touch. Then we had an elopement. So maybe this was a trigger. So then we had an elopement. And we had a physical prompt, which would be blocking the door and physically moving them away from the door. At the end of the hour total, with all three blocks, I would keep the total just because it's hard to kind of get the whole thing accurately without keeping it separately totals wise. So we had one aggressive behavior, one replacement behavior, these were the prompts I used. Two disruptive behaviors, these are the prompts I used. Two elopements, these are the prompts I used. So now when it comes to graphing, I have an easy way to look at everything that I have and put it onto a graph. So if we're graphing it by the 5 minutes, I know that throughout the whole day there's 36 5-minute intervals, and if this was the only case, he had one. So whatever 1 divided by 36 is, that's what I would graph. And then this way I can also graph my replacement behaviors. I don't normally graph the prompts, but I do like to have them because if I see that we're using a verbal prompt primarily and it's not working, we need to change. If I see that it's being resistive a lot, we need to call a BCBA in and we need to change the plan completely. I showed the safe body card for aggressive. This is also an example of a break card. It doesn't have to be this one. I usually let the student pick which one they want. Take a break for disruptive behaviors and then, or for, I'm sorry, elopement. And then for the disruptive behaviors, these are our strategy cards. So you see here, green zone. I'll show one that doesn't. There we go. So blue zone, sad, tired, sick, bored, nervous, disappointed. On the front, this is what, the student could identify as I'm sad. On the back, it has our strategies to get back to green. Ask for a hug, draw a picture, relax in a comfortable space, talk to an adult, take a break, think happy thoughts. This is something that is easy for the aide, for myself, for whoever's caring for the child that particular day to carry around. It can clip onto the clipboard. They're all in one spot. It's easily to transport. It's easy to go to different areas of the school. It's easy to follow, even on the bus if he has a bus aide. It's something that it's concrete where it won't be changed. It will be the same over and over and over again. It's something that is easily travelable. It's something that the student will be familiar with. And it's also just something great to have if, say, the aide is absent or I'm absent and we need somebody else to step in. It's pretty much laid out right there for you what you need to do with the descriptions on the front page. After all this data is collected, it would be graphed that day so we can find trends. Thank you for listening to my presentation.